they've never fucking been in a normal job. I've been in, I've done that
my
shit.
friends were
I can talk with drug dealers, I can fucking talk with...
Oh, God.
You ever met a strong woman?
Myself? Yes, I have learned myself as a strong woman after I've been educated, PhD, feminist, whatever. As a strong woman being married to a surgeon who was...
Oh, that's
who was
a beautiful title for something.
Who was...
Strong woman married to surgeon.
Who was a very weak kind of man, but...
A weak surgeon.
No.
Strong
not
women married to weak surgeons.
To a weak male that is a surgeon that endows him with a very strong background.
Very strong what?
Background, a very strong image. One.
But you were in love.
I was in love in the beginning, but not at the later. Second, I became in love with one of the most important intellectuals of the 20th century in this country.
Karl Marx?
20th century. And where is the bathroom? I need to visit the bathroom.
What you do is you go across and it's over there.
Okay.
Watch her go. There she goes. There she goes. Goodbye. Juncture.
You and I are different people. And you know what is Artaud doing, it seems to me, that I wanted to point out today was the sublime moments are gone. We have no sublime moments. My students don't even know what sublime is.
I think my students got a sense of it in that film. The discussion tonight, they were talking about the silence he sets up in the middle of that film after the kid is killed.
Yes.
The silence he sets up and the sobbing and the
on the part of the man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not only that, those sounds, but there is
a moment of stillness in the woman.
Yeah.
That is...
You can't tell whether the film is even moving or whether it's
nothing.
Stopped. Yeah.
It is a moment of stillness there. And one would, I mean, if it was Hollywood melodrama, it would be a wailing, it would be something. But there it is a moment of stillness. And the spectator wonders. Sees the blood on the TV, sees the blood on the wall, and wonders.
But they did really well, though, the class. I thought, like, you know, because so much of it, if you're not getting the Artaud, the thing is, if you were not understanding what he's getting at, you would be obsessed with discussing ways in which this could have been avoided.
No, you don't want to do that. No,
that's exactly the wrong thing, and there was very little of that, and I was pleased.
But the thing is this about Marcuse in his One-Dimensional Man. Have you read that book? Oh, it's a great book. You got to read that book. He uses this term. He says that this technologically advanced capitalist, post-capitalist society we live in does one thing, and that is to rob us of our reaching to the sublime. And the sublime is not the religious kind of shit. It is that elevation that human beings can possess. It is that thing, the very thing Artaud is talking about, that he wants to record, that is human, and that is both negative and positive. And Marcuse calls this capitalist tendency repressive desublimation. So the culture...
Catchy term.
What culture does is lead us into a bluntness.
It's like a computer in a bowling alley.
A computer in a bowling alley? I don't know. What is a bowling alley? You ask.
Want to know that much about you to begin with.
I am
And
bigger
you
than
can
that.
bullshit a lot of people. Not even really laying on.
Exactly, because
Oh,
I'm
yeah, it's awesome.
the only true person.
My dad can bullshit.
Because they are there for the show,
Fuck,
and
he's one of the
I'm
classic.
here for
You know,
real.
he retired as a chief master
And you know
sergeant
what,
for the
who I'm
Air
talking
Force.
about.
He's in Nam, Korea,
And,
fucking everything.
I
He
will
can
find a way
bullshit with the best about
sustain
anything.
myself.
And he's
in
educated enough that he can even hold a fairly high level conversation. He's read enough.
genius and mind.
And even if he hasn't, he's had enough experiences to go,
Never.
well, what do you think about, you
They
know,
can all
Greece in
go and fuck
1957? Because he was fucking
I will
there.
be here
And
forever.
Turkey, 1963.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I was, you know. And
some
Roman
point.
fucking architecture,
And
because he was into
not in
it.
this
I mean, he has a
lifetime.
collection of
I will
Roman
not
coins.
be recognized
I
in
mean,
this
it doesn't
lifetime.
matter,
I
you know. And
I
the
don't
more
even
life
care about
experiences
it,
you
you know?
have, and if you're educated a little bit about stuff, yeah, at a certain point you're going to get called. Yeah.
I go
But
home
if you're
and I'm
willing to
alone.
kind of back
and
off and say, well, yeah, and my dad
most
could
of the
leave some
time
fucking
I
stories of
am
bullshit people like
grouchy, but
yeah.
Is well, there are a few questions, but the first one is, have you ever had an orgasm?
Yeah.
And the second question is, could you describe it?
Oh, sure. I will
And
try.
there's only one ground rule.
Okay.
You can't use the word cataclysm.
Oh, I wasn't planning to.
Yeah, I'll take another.
So an orgasm.
Do you need one?
No, I guess if
Yeah.
it's really cold. An orgasm is a state of total trust and total release and a moment.
It's like being in the... Oh, go ahead.
A moment in a torturous living where you can be mindless. Thank you.
Go in the house?
Yeah, I know. Don't like drinking urine.
Your definition of the cataclysm that is orgasm.
I don't think
Is-
orgasm is cataclysm.
Why
I
not?
do not think that because I don't place that much value on that moment. You know,
What moments do you place value?
I told you when I first started reading Hegel. There is no more,
There's nothing further from an orgasm than Hegel.
nothing. Reading Hegel, from when I read
Oh man, don't get BAME started on Hegel.
Cornelius Castoriadis, you heard of him?
Oh, who hasn't?
Okay. When I read Cornelius Castoriadis' essay, you know, I saw him lecture on it, and I had a question for him, and I was so timid that I wouldn't dare to ask my question.
But you're always so timid.
No, I'm not. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. So I read, he has a great essay on tragedy. I don't know if you've read it.
No.
I have it, and I will give it to you because it's going to be
in
so
Greek?
relevant. No, it's in English. It's going to be so relevant to our talk class, where he says, I mean, I haven't, that was in '95, so it's been a long time. And I met Cornelius at another point in different circumstances, and I asked him that question, and he said, you know, you have captured the essence of my philosophy, and I was too timid to ask him the question publicly. Anyway, realization, you know, and that he talked about beloved. Margaret Garner's decision to kill her child is the ultimate cruel act, but it is the only act that is ethically possible. Anything you wanted.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's
There are no limitations.
Reassuring
There are no limitations as to
to think that when you get old and drug addicted and such, and you can just spank.
drug addicted. Hopefully you're not drug addicted. I would
Hopefully.
not recommend that.
No. Coming from your experience with drug addiction,
Yeah. Which is a very, very limited, so.
a very, very limited addiction.
No, it's a very, very limited experience or knowledge of addiction. The best I can do is 12-pack.
Yeah. You sound like Dilly.
Dilly?
Dilly is, he's been down a hard road.
Oh, who hasn't?
Michael Jackson.
He has not. I think he has had the hardest road of all.
So,
Meaningless. Like he was trying to. He did convince me that Ruth, when she got her shit moved to Chicago, got all of her stuff moved to Chicago for $50. Some movers that only do it. I'm like, what? And he just, I kept saying, no way. And he kept insisting, and all he did is really keep insisting. And I finally just went, wow, $50 to move an entire person's, belongings to. And then it says no. I mean, I'm surprised he even told me at that point, because I've heard that Joe will convince people, like Romana apparently said. I said this in front of Romana, and she said he'll sometimes convince me of things and let me believe it for years, It'll be like, and it'll somehow come up in a family get. Like he convinced her that one of her aunts, one of his aunts, that they called her Ronald McDonald. So they're talking one time, and it's just like, yeah, your Aunt Ronald McDonald, and they're like, what? Aunt Ronald McDonald. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Another world.
I thought you were from the hood.
I am from the hood, but there are hoods in every country.
Are there?
Oh, yes.
Good Lord. All right, go ahead.
My son was, when he was about 6 or 7, he was into the Ninja Turtles. And they all had Renaissance paintings, names. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and what was the other one?
Mitch.
No, Mitch, that was not. It was another Renaissance name. So I thought to myself, I want to go and show these people, show these kids, that these guys, that they have these sublime names, were, something else. So I do. And I take, my material and everything. And then when I get to go and talk to the kids in the elementary school, when we came to Michelangelo or one of the painters, Donatello, there was a naked statue. And they said, no, this is obscene, we're not going to show it. And it is then that I understood what is obscenity in this country. And I thought to myself, obscenity is their refusal to allow nakedness into the knowledge. It is not obscenity to see nakedness, it is obscenity to hide nakedness. And that's how I use the term obscene. And to me, obscene is the Christian conservative who has fantasies about wild sex, but will not allow, will not tolerate a woman breastfeeding a child in his territory.
That's exactly Bicey. You've hit Bicey right on the head.
I did?
Bicey is obscene in your terms, because he disallows sex at every point, but he's just fantasizing about it at every moment.
But that is an American thing.
He's the opposite of BAME.
That's an American thing, because nudity is unacceptable in this country.
See, BAME always is having sex, but he doesn't even realize it. he doesn't even care. He doesn't even attach to it.
So Bane has an erotic disposition.
Yeah.